Welcome to the Cockpit. My name's Ryan. I'll be your pilot tonight. I got Matt O'Leary in the house. Let's hope this is finally working. I've got some delay going on. Oh, it's working. Okay. Oh, we're live. All right. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Man, that was not easy for some reason. That should not have gone the way it did. Matt, welcome to the Cockpit. Hopefully, we got some guys joining in. We got a different screen that we're using, so they're probably like, what the hell's going on?
That's okay. Thanks so much for having me on, dude. I'm excited to be on and talk some Jets with you.
Yeah! All right, so guys, we're going to start this the same way we always do. We're going to do call-ins starting at 8:30, and then we will do comment questions and some of our banter back and forth. But first off, Matt, how long have you been doing your YouTube channel? Kind of give us a little pitch of what your channel's all about.
Okay, so I've been doing Jets on YouTube for probably almost a year at this point. I wanted to do everything New York sports, and then I think I was just like way too all over the place. And then I started to notice that my Jets videos were doing better, like views wise. I was like, okay, maybe my audience just wants more Jets videos. So around the draft time of last year is when I started to go on full Jets. And I've loved every minute of it. I love making these videos. It's a ton of fun.
Yeah, no, that's kind of where I I wound up too. I started probably about a year, almost 2 years ago now. Um, and just sort of, I was like, oh, do I want to do all New York sports? And I was like, man, I don't know jack about like the Knicks or baseball or anything. I was like, I'm just gonna start talking football, and it's been a lot of fun. And I think the conversation that you have with all the guys in the comment section is a lot of fun. And I stumbled across your channel probably when you were about 200 or 300 subscribers. And I was like, wow, this guy knows what the hell he's talking about. I was like, I'm just gonna keep watching him.
I appreciate that. You're one of the OGs. You've been around a long time.
Dude, it's nice. It's like it's kind of like I listen to some of the other guys, and like I like Angry David, I like Ian over at Jet Central. I listen to a little bit of Howie. He doesn't put out as much content, but you can tell there is a I don't want to say a realness, a maybe it's just like because we're sort of Jet fans and we're just always sad about things, but you're not as optimistic as the regular Jet fan on YouTube, I think.
I I don't want to be like a pessimistic guy. I really don't. What I'm trying to do is taking my fan bias out of it. That's how I look at it anyway. I'm trying to look at this team as objectively as possible and just being like, okay, what I'm seeing on Sundays, this is what I think they should do. And it just so happens that a lot of times right now I'm disagreeing with a lot of the things that's going on in the organization.
I completely agree. And let's jump right into it. Let's talk about Adam Gase. I know you've been selling those Fire Adam Gase shirts. If you guys want to check that out, check out one of O'Leary's videos. He's got that going. I thought that was pretty funny. What's your take on Gase? Has this 2-game win streak or any of the play calling or anything like that changed any way that you've thought about Gase to this point?
Not really. I mean, yes, I'm happy that they won the last two games and they put up over 30 points in the last two games, but you got to keep in mind this is against two teams that have a combined 3 wins in the Giants and the Redskins, and you still look at what they've done in not even the division, but just in the conference. They don't have a win in the entire AFC, which is mind-boggling that somehow they have all three of their wins are coming from the NFC East, but nonetheless. To me, Adam Gase has done, I'll give him credit. He's done a really good job with his opening scripts the last couple of weeks, and they've looked really, really good. The last 4 games, they have a touchdown on their opening drive. It's just after that where you see things start to, I don't know, go away from what was so successful on those opening drives.
So I don't know if you saw this. I saw a thing earlier today, and actually it wasn't even that much earlier. It was probably like a few hours ago. I guess Rich Samini said that Sam Darnold and Adam Gase met after the Jaguar game, and Adam Darnold, Sam Darnold decided to tell Adam exactly what type of plays he felt worked for him and what made sense. I mean, it does fall in line with the two terrible teams that we just versed, but I think it's interesting. I mean, I guess it dates back to the Miami game. So Miami, Giants, Redskins. You're talking about 3 of the bottom 4 teams in the, in the league right now. But it does beg the question, is the offense looking better because we're playing terrible teams? Is the offense looking better because Sam's a little more comfortable in what he's doing? It might be a combo of a whole bunch of things.
I think it's a mix of both, to be honest with you. I think part of it is probably, and I mean, I love Sam Darnold going to the coach and be like, listen, this is what I think is comfortable because I'm comfortable with. And I know he's only 22 years old, but as the quarterback and the leader of that offense, you got to take the initiative there and just go to your coach and be like, look, I'm not, something isn't working here clearly. And even in that Miami game, yeah, they lost and he threw a god awful interception in the red zone, like terrible. But besides that, he had a really good game. And the play before the interception was the Ryan Griffin phantom touchdown. How I still don't understand how that wasn't a touchdown. So if that was called a touchdown on the field and it stayed, his stat line would look completely different. And I think our mindset would be way different on Sam Darnold right now. So I do feel a little bad that things went that way and that pick ended up coming right after that. I don't know. Like I said, I'm pretty happy with him going to the coach, and I think it's a mix of both him being a little bit more comfortable and them beating up on some of the weaker teams. I'm curious to see what they do against Oakland because I feel like this is their first real test in like the last 3 weeks or so.
Yeah, I agree. I think what we see against Oakland is going to determine how I feel about Gase, at least from the last 3 weeks sort of perspective. Like, it's hard for me. I mean, the Miami game was bad. I feel like Miami, I think, way worse of Gase than I did prior to Miami. I wasn't totally on the fire Adam Gase board until the Miami game. Then the Giants and the Redskins come to town, and the Jets pretty much dismantle both of them. I think they were both. I mean, I guess the Giant game was a little bit closer. The last game really wasn't close at all. Those last two touchdowns they scored were kind of like gimmies at the end of the game. That like, I mean, whatever. It wasn't competitive. Now, I think if we can beat the Raiders, you're looking at a team that is competent. You're looking at a team that has some good players on it. I think Derek Carr is a far better quarterback than Daniel Jones or Ryan Fitzpatrick or Dwayne Haskins. So at least from that perspective, it's a tougher task. I don't know. I have a tough time believing in Gase until we beat or play some good competition because we're gonna play the Bengals again. We're gonna play the Dolphins again. Like I have us going 5-11, finishing out the season, winding up getting between the 5th and 7th pick.
It sounds about right, unfortunately, because that kind of puts you in the NFL purgatory where you're not quite good enough to be in the playoff picture, and you're also quite not bad enough for a top pick. If you're picking like 7th overall, which it feels like the Jets have picked 6th overall a million times in the last 5 to 10 years, it doesn't do you much good. And I'm with you with Gase in that aspect because there's been the offense has looked a lot better the last 2 weeks, but we've kind of hit on this a bunch already. Is just the teams that they're playing. I mean, the Redskins, they're playing for nothing. I mean, I don't know if you saw the video of Dwayne Haskins trying to talk to his offensive line.
Oh man, I should have included it in my video. I'm so pissed I didn't see it before then.
I know. I couldn't believe how disinterested they looked in their quarterback. They just they're a team that's quit, it looks like. So I can't take much stock of that game and say like, oh, well, this guy just figured out how to be a head coach and just throw away the previous 3+ years that he's been doing this.
Yeah, I agree. I dropped a thing about when Adam Gase, I guess after the Miami game, he had, I think I actually have the stat written down right here still. Yeah, he's 3-26. Now he's 4-26 in games decided by 8 points or more. So the dude gets blown out all the time in the last 30 games. And then in games under 8 points, so like when it's kept close, he's 22-6. So I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out if it's like, are we totally always unprepared? Or is he like, I can't read. The stat could go either way. Is there one particular way you feel about that stat?
I don't love it. It's very bizarre. I feel like it's sad.
It's uncomfortable.
It's sad that he's more likely to get blown out than to win a game, which is kind of frustrating. But I don't know. What does that really say about the head coach then? I don't know how to I understand the numbers with that, but I can't take that and say like, okay, well, what does that mean? I don't know what it means.
Yeah, I think it's very inconsistent. I think the injuries probably have the biggest thing. I was doing some research, and I don't have the stuff in front of me now, but I have. You look at the amount of money that is on IR for the Jets compared to any other team, and it is like you could tell that the Jets were hurting this year. It's like I want to say it's something like $50 million worth of cap space is on the IR, which is almost 25% of our cap space. It's like, or more than that. It's what's the cap, like 190 or 2?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
I think it's like 200.
Sounding about right.
Yeah, so we have a ton of like money allocated to players that are not helping us on the field.
Yeah, that's definitely the frustrating thing. And what's interesting is even with his time with the Dolphins, it seems like Gase's teams always have massive injuries. Like Tannehill's missed time when he was with the Dolphins there, and just you go down the line, and they've always had his teams have had a ton of injuries. And again, that is some of that luck, I guess, probably, but I don't know. At some point, I just feel like Adam Gase is more likely to use that as an excuse than Greg Williams, because you see the guys that Greg Williams is able to plug and play on that defense, and they're still like semi competent. And yeah, I mean, the last couple of weeks they played, like we mentioned, some pretty bad teams and not some great quarterbacks. But even before that, like his unit was a lot more competitive, while Adam Gase's unit, with all the injuries, they just completely like went down the drain. And then he was like, oh, we need just to get some bodies back, instead of trying to figure out, okay, yes, I lost Enunwa for the year. Yes, my quarterback missed 3 games. Like, how can I optimize what we have? And I just feel like he was looking for excuses, which kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Now, I do want to bring up the defense. We have seen a lot of interesting stuff. Obviously, the Jamal Adams thing is really cool. But, and I'm going to screw up this guy's goddamn name, Fatukasi or whatever you say. The dude, I saw a stat from Pro Football Focus. Since week 6, the guy has been a top 3 defensive lineman in the NFL, only behind Aaron Donald at number 1 and Calais Campbell at number 2. So this dude, coming out of nowhere, I want to say he was a 6th round pick.
Yeah, he was.
Incredible. I love
mean,
what we're getting from him.
Yeah, thank God. Mike McCagnon late round pick paying off. Him and Nathan Shepard have been phenomenal on the defensive line. It's crazy to think that they've probably been 2 of the Jets' better defensive linemen. And if you look at the whole year, like they had Leonard Williams for the first 7 games,
Yep.
and he was a top 10 pick. You have Quinnen Williams, who he was a top 3 pick, and somehow Folu Fatukasi, who was a 6th rounder, Nathan Shepard, who was a 3rd rounder, and Henry Anderson, who the Colts didn't even want. They are the Jets' best defensive lineman. It's kind of crazy when you think of it that way.
Yeah, and especially the other thing I was looking at was sacks too. So since the Jets traded away Leonard Williams, they have gotten 13 sacks. I think it's 13 sacks. And in the 7 games prior with Leonard Williams, they had 12. So in the last, I mean, granted, the difference in skill level in teams versed is totally different, but it's a very interesting stat. Like, why was Leonard Williams not able to finish off these kind of pressures?
Yeah, I don't know. That's such a weird one. And everyone threw that, stat in the pressure stat anytime I brought up any criticism of Leonard Williams. And that's all I saw on Giants Twitter. Like, oh my God, this guy, he's causing the pressure. But at the end of the day, like, you got to give me more than just like the pressure stat. You got to get there eventually. And I just watching this guy for he was with the Jets 5 years. You could probably count on one hand how many big plays or game-changing plays that he's had. And if you're taking someone that high overall, like 6th overall, and in 2015, everyone said, oh, he was the steal of the draft, the best player fell to the Jets. You got to give more than just the pressure stats.
I completely agree. It's, I love what we got for Leonard Williams, a 3rd, and what looks like it's going to wind up being a 4th round pick. It sounds like the Giants have a plan for him. They're going to sign him. So 3rd and 4th round pick for Leonard Williams. Not great compensation from a 6th overall pick, but I'll take it. More than I thought we were going to get.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, at this point, he wasn't anywhere close to the value that he had when he was first drafted. And I don't think he's a bad player. I just think he's like an okay starter. That's pretty much what he is. And getting a 3rd and what looks like you said a 4th round pick back for it. And when you look at like the Jets have a ton of holes, they need as much draft capital as humanly possible. It would be silly to put even more resources into that defensive line and pay him after this year. It makes perfect sense to trade him, and I thought Joe Douglas made the right move.
Now, I heard you bring it up before a lot of other Jet fans. I talked about it a little bit on the Cockpit, but the thought of trading Jamal Adams, what are your thoughts given the last 2 games that we've seen out of him? Is he just increasing his trade value, or are we going to decide to keep the guy?
I don't know. I've gone really back and forth on this the last couple of weeks. So leading up to the trade deadline, things were looking a lot different. Jamal wasn't playing his best football. He didn't look as good as what he did last year. Listen, this isn't to say he's not a good player. He's a very good safety. He's probably the best safety in the entire league. My thing is, if you had a team that was going to give you a 1st round pick and then like multiple other picks, I feel like you have to do it, especially because what I'm looking at is strong safety isn't as much of an impact position as a lot of other positions on the field. Edge rusher, cornerback, offensive line. And those three positions specifically are positions that the Jets really struggle with. So if you're able to take that draft capital that you get for Jamal Adams and flip it into addressing those needs, then I think you're helping your team overall and roster building by obviously decreasing, in this moment by taking Jamal Adams off this team. So I I think I would still lean towards being okay. It depends on what the compensation is, but I think I'd be okay if they traded Jamal Adams.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where I fall too. I love what we're getting out of him. If he can continue to impact the game in such a way that we're seeing right now for the rest of the season, I'd be more on the let's not trade him. I like him up around the line of scrimmage. I would actually be okay if we brought in another safety to play safety and he played, that kind of roving role around the line of scrimmage. I think he's more valuable as a pass rusher for this team than he is in the safety role.
Yeah, switch him to edge. He has 5 sacks in the last 2 games.
Yeah, it's absolutely bonkers what we're getting out of him. I'm definitely a fan of the 3 sacks this past week, and what was it, 2 the week before that, and 1 week before that. So we're getting 4 next week. Derek Carr, watch out! This is what's gonna happen. No, I think if we got, I would almost want like a first and 2 seconds, as opposed to 2 firsts. Like if that's sort of weird, I guess I'd rather with more players. I mean, I guess I'd rather get 2 firsts. That's kind of a lie on my part, but I would. Now, are you still feeling the same way? You wanted a cornerback, I believe, in your mock draft for the second. If it was, say, the Dallas pick.
Yeah, for the second pick, I was looking at a corner. I think if I'm the Jets or if I'm Joe Douglas, I'm addressing it with the first pick, wherever that lands, whether it's like you said, somewhere like in that 7th spot. I am taking the best offensive lineman available at that spot because to me, that's the Jets' biggest issue. Then after that, I'm cool with addressing a bunch of different areas. What corner is definitely a position I would look at. If there's an edge at the end of the first round, or whoever you're trading to, if like you said, if Dallas is probably picking in like the mid-20s, or I'd highly consider going wide receiver at the end of the first round.
I would definitely go wide receiver at some point. First overall, if we're like that top 10 pick, I definitely want a lineman. Andrew Thomas was my sweetheart. Yeah. I wanted him, but Washington's going to get him for sure. I would say I put Austin Jackson in my little mock draft or mock offseason that I put together, and I'm not 110% sold on him. It's just basically because he's an offensive lineman and the Jets need offensive line help as much as possible. I don't know. If the Jets, do you think there's a trade potential with Trent Williams at all?
That's a real tough one.
I have a tough time seeing it.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'm gonna want to give up the draft capital it would take to get him, especially at his age. That's not to say that he's not a good offensive lineman. Obviously he's very good, but he's gonna be a year removed from playing and another year older. I feel like I'd rather at that point take the best, like I said, best offensive lineman available, and then forget about that position for 10 years, like what they did with Nick Mangold and D'Brickashaw Ferguson.
Yeah, that's kind of where I fall. I was watching some highlights, so I'm not a big Jerry Jeudy fan. I get why people are high on him. I really like CeeDee Lamb. I think CeeDee Lamb is really good, the wide receiver from Oklahoma. But watching his stuff, I was like, oh, man, I would be okay if the Jets took him in the top 10. But I want a lineman. And then for the second part, if you want if you're looking mid to late 20s, I don't know if I roll the dice on the center from Wisconsin being there in the third. I might take him in the first, or not in the third, at the beginning of the second. I might take him at that first round pick just to solidify it. Because if we're going into the draft and that's our only need, not our only need, but our only the
biggest need.
I guess it's not even just the biggest need. It's we went in from the offseason, unless they're okay with Harrison maybe doing one more year at center, and they're like, okay, let's not push the draft pick. If he falls to us in the second round, let's take him. I don't know. I would be very hesitant to not take him.
I wouldn't be mad at it if they went two offensive linemen in the first round. I'd be all for it. I think that outside of the quarterback position, offensive line is like right up there in terms of importance to a football team for me.
I got a few people in the chat. We'll take some chat questions.
Sure.
before we jump on to phone calls. But it looks like so Douglas, Le'Veon Bell will be traded this off season. Do you believe that?
I don't think so. The reason why I was hesitant is because in Adam Gase's offense, it just doesn't seem like he's utilizing him right. But I just don't think that they're gonna pay him that money and then like be so quick to flip him. Maybe after another year, if they go through and he's still putting up the same kind of production in 2020, maybe they look to move him after that. But I'd be pretty surprised if they flipped him after just 1 year.
Yeah, I would be upset to take away a weapon from Darnold right now, especially someone that could be as good as Bell with a good offensive line. If we could revamp this offensive line, we might get an entirely new Bell next season. Now, the issue that I see in the last 2 or 3 games, it actually looks like they've been using Powell more in the run game, and he's been slightly more effective. Like with a bad offensive line, you almost want the running back that's going to hit the hole really fast, as opposed to Bell that's a little more patient. And while I think Bell's play style, can be awesome, it's just not necessarily working with what the Jets have to work with right now.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I'm one of the biggest Bilal Powell fans, so you don't got to sell him to me. I think he's great in pass protection. I think he could catch the ball out of the backfield, do a little bit of everything. And for some reason, the Jets refuse to use Ty Montgomery. I'm not quite sure why, but I liked that they used Bilal Powell. He was really effective on that one drive. I think it was in the second quarter. He had like a 17-yard run and almost scored, but he kind of fell. And I really liked, to me, I would use 2 running backs on the field at the same time in certain packages. The Jets, I feel like, rarely have done that this year. And with the 3 running backs they have, just put Bell in the slot and have either Montgomery or Powell in the backfield. That's what I do.
Yeah, no, I would have done way more, multiple running back sets. I think we're seeing more tight end sets, which is, I didn't even know Brown was on our team. I'm like, who is this guy? So this guy scores a touchdown. Griffin looks real good. He's been a very good, pleasant surprise for me because, as a Texan coming over here, he had, I think it was a DUI charge, and I was like, oh, great, we're just getting some other scrub, not going to be reliable. He's been reliable that we've seen so far, and I think if we get, I think the Raiders, a team, so one of my buddies is a big Raiders fan, he's like, yo, Tyler Eifert, any tight end that they're playing, they're going to do well. So look for Griffin this week if, what he says is true, that the Raiders are terrible against the tight end. I would like to see some continued success with Griffin.
That's good insider info. I might have to use that in my DraftKings this week.
It's not bad. If you want to be real clever, you do it on FanDuel. Not that I'm associated with FanDuel, but I know a guy that knows a guy that knows a guy.
Okay.
But no, I have a DraftKings too. So I should do more DraftKings stuff, but I honestly haven't won anything this entire season. It's been terrible.
Yeah, I've only had one good week, so I'm right there with you.
I'm going to grab a beer real quick, then we'll take some phone calls.
Okay, I'm in. This is fun. I'll read up the comments a little bit.
All right. And let's get the phone number up on the screen. Boom! Phone lines are open, people. We got hashtag sports in the building. They've been, I'm sure that's Mario, just like, Bills fans. I am a closet, fan of the Bills right now.
Really? Okay.
On what they're doing. I shouldn't say that because it's, inside the division, but I like the guy that gets beaten down. It's kind of
Call from
understandable.
Chris from Florida to accept.
Chris from Florida, what's up? Welcome to the Cockpit. Try talking a little bit because I'm not sure if O'Leary can hear you. I haven't tested this out yet.
Let's go, Jets! Jets! 2 wins in a row, baby!
I can hear him.
You can hear him? Okay. I'm trying not... I got to play with the volume enough so that way his voice comes through and hits the microphone. But,
Yep.
No, I want you, my man. First of all, to all the viewers right here, make sure you like and subscribe to my boy Jets Talk 24/7 and Matt O'Leary. All day, every day, baby. 2 Jet fans represent.
I love it, dude. What's on your mind? Talk to us.
All right, so I'm going to straight out say, Matt O'Leary, I'm already a subscriber. I'm a big fan, and I love your commentary, and I love how you analyze the team, especially after every game. I love your work. I'm a huge fan. Thank you so much for representing the Jets, man. Now, let's get on to, first off, I think both of y'all's ideas on the draft thing. I'm with it. The only thing I have to disagree with, and I put $10 on you, Jets Talk. I said $10 that we're going to keep Jamal Adams, and this is a big reason why. Jamal Adams is a huge representative of leadership, and for this team to be going through another rebuild and knowing that we're going to be bringing in some fresh defensive blood mind, we need someone who's going to keep the hype and keep the control, and I think Jamal Adams is the guy for that. You don't really see a lot of leadership out of anybody else, at least in my opinion, on any other defensive player. So it's really hard to believe that Jamal Adams would. I mean, you got C.J. Mosley, I know that, but with a young perspective mind and the energy he has, I think he's a for sure staying thing. You know, that's my perspective on that. With the draft, I hope we go ahead and first thing we got to get an offensive line player if he's available. If anything, I really want a center or somebody to cover Sam Darnold's left side. But after that, start picking up more offensive linemen, some defensive corners, cornerbacks or edge rushers, and then around maybe the third or fourth draft pick, some wide receivers. That's my viewpoint on the whole draft thing right there. What about you guys?
So you just said Jamal Adams is a great leader, and I really do believe that. I just have an issue with the way he handled the trade deadline. And I'll be honest, since the trade deadline, I really haven't worn my Jamal Adams jersey, and it's like, I've been pretty heated. I've tried to keep my cool with it, but like, I don't think this guy wants to be here long term, and that's my biggest like beef with it. Like, I think he's trying to develop a plan for him to get out and go to Dallas after this contract, and that is disingenuous for me. You know, all this rah-rah stuff is just to get the fans on his side, and I'm hoping that's not the case. I'm hoping that he actually wants to stay here long term, because the guy, as much as we've seen the last 3 weeks, the guy's been an absolute freak for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing that I agree with you, like Joe Douglas would be almost silly not to take phone calls on him. And I don't think he was like shopping him, like saying like, yeah, he's, you know, what would you give me for Jamal Adams? I think it was more of like guys were calling him like, hey, is this guy available? And if someone offered you a first and 2 seconds, I don't see how you can't pull the trigger on that.
Yeah, I completely agree. Chris, thank you so much for calling in. I'm going to eject you from the cockpit so we can get to more people. Boom, chicken goes across the screen. Okay. It's kind of cool. I got to do the timer. I'm not good with the timer. Guys, let's try to keep it to questions so that way O'Leary and I can bounce back and forth. I know we usually do the hold on the phone for a while, but gonna try something new. We'll see. I might change that as we get part of the way through.
Okay.
Who we got? Who's on the line?
Call from.
Hello, welcome to the cockpit. What's up, brother?
How's it going?
Not
Great
too bad. Who's calling? Where you
here.
calling from?
It's Big Great here.
Oh, Big Green. What's up, dude?
Oh, no, I love O'Leary's content. Been a subscriber for a while.
Thank you.
Yep, anytime. What do you think about getting rid of Quentin Williams? I heard that someone offered King's ransom for him, and he's not producing. And as O'Leary said in one of his videos, we got third rounders and sixth rounders performing better than him.
I'll let Matt take it away first.
Yeah, I don't know. Listen, he hasn't performed well at all so far this year. I think he only has 1.5 sacks. He's been pretty underwhelming for me, but I'm not ready to give up on him yet. I've been critical of so far, expecting more from someone who's taken third overall, but I think it really depends on what he does the rest of this year. I'll give him another year or two to develop. He's still young. It's just his rookie year. If we get to next year and it's the same thing, then maybe I'm, looking to move him. But for right now, I think he's fine for, what the Jets are using him for, which is basically a rotational piece.
Yeah, I think so. I'd have to look up what the actual cap hits would be, because with that first round contract, it'd kind of be like the Josh Rosen thing where the Jets would eat a lot of that contract, and whoever would get him on the cheap or like for whatever they'd trade us, they'd give us a first round pick at least, I think.
Right.
They would have him significantly cheaper. And I saw a stat. I'm going to try and find it real quick while I have you guys on here. But it was something like the amount, like through a certain amount of games, this is how many sacks like J.J. Watt had, and Calais Campbell, and all these other guys, and it really wasn't too far off from a quarterback pressure, quarterback hit, tackles, and sacks perspective. It's actually Quinnen's actually doing all right. I'm kicking myself for not actually saving this as a screenshot, but yeah, look, I would say I would consider trading Quinnen Williams if we were to get like a first round pick. If it was a first and a third, sorry, Quinnen, you're out the door. Like I'm okay with what we have right now. I like.
What I read somewhere it was. I would have taken it, depending on the cap. But this next upcoming, as soon as we can trade for him, if we get a King's ransom, I'd take it because we need this offensive line. We need edge rushers. I think we have two good corners. But yeah, we have a lot of holes.
We really do. I mean, you're talking. Well, let's jump into Bless Austin because I've been wanting to talk about this guy, and I really think he has the potential to be a starting corner. I'm hesitant to say a number one corner because I don't trust his health, but the guy's got the range and he's got the moves. He's got the feel of a corner. He looks more fluid out there. Let me know what you think, Matt. Big Green, thank you for calling in. I'm kicking you out of Cockpit.
I really liked how he's played the last couple of weeks. Again, it kind of goes back to the same thing. Like, is this the teams that they're playing? What is he here? I want to see a little bit more of him down the stretch. I don't want to see any more Nate Hairston. I don't want to really see any more Dow Roberts or Tremaine Johnson. Give me Mollett. Give me more of Bless Austin, and let's see what we have here. To me, the injury thing is my biggest concern. Like, what is this guy going to be able to stay on the field? I think he's only played 5 games over the last 2 years, so that is definitely something of concern for me. So we'll see there.
I completely agree. Mario from #Sports Brother, what is up, dude?
What's going on, fellas? Heck of a job going on tonight. How you guys been?
You know what? We are fantastic. We're not as good as your goddamn Bills, unfortunately. You guys, I have to say, at this particular point in time, I love my Sam Darnold, but man, Josh Allen is balling out up there in Buffalo.
He is, but the thing that was concerning me that's going to concern you guys because it's going to concern the Baltimore Ravens when it happens, and it's going to concern the Cleveland Browns when that happens. And my question for you guys is this: you guys are $61 million under the cap next year. You guys got to figure out down the line because the Bills are thinking this too. We want to sign all these guys, however. Some of these contracts are going to bleed into Darnold. Maybe I know you got a lot of you guys are saying that Adams is gone. However, if he's re-signed, you got a Mosley eating up a chunk of change there. How do you think like signing these guys would affect, the contract that you're going to have to eventually give to Darnold at some point?
Well, I'll take this one over because the Jets, since I want to say it's 2010, and I got to start saving these stats on these sorts of things. The Jets don't have a first-round pick on this team. The last first-round pick we have, or the oldest first-round pick we have, is Jamal Adams. So if Jamal Adams is traded, if he's held on to, whatever it is, it's really just him and Sam plus Mosley. Those would be the 3 contracts that I'd look at because, look, Tremaine Johnson. Oh, this beer. Ugh. Sorry. Tremaine Johnson, going to be gone. Quinnen Williams, not a huge cap hit. Avery Williamson, I want to hold on to him. I think he's worth the $6.5 million cap hit for next year. I think he's $7.5 million against the cap, but we'd save 6.5 if we cut him. Sure. That sounds right. I would think we'll be all right with Sam. My issue is we're going to wind up paying a ton of money for potentially not getting a lot on his rookie contract. Like you look at Patrick Mahomes, you look at Josh Allen, you look at Lamar Jackson. These guys are taking off in their rookie contracts, and their teams are benefiting greatly because of it. This was the year that should have happened. We have an easier strength of schedule. Sam Darnold has not, had the season we want him to have. The mono really set us back. All the injuries. Mario, I don't know if you were still in the chat. We were talking. The Jets have the most amount of money on IR of any team in the NFL. It's like something like $50 million.
Oh, I believe it. No question. I believe that. But the one thing that I want to get to you guys, and I happen to do this over, for the Bills and stuff. These guys are always about connections in the NFL. That's the one thing that I've noticed. All the places that Gase and Williams have been, I would look there first for guys they may want to pick up in free agency, even if it's on the other side of the ball. You talk about Gase, he spent time in Denver, he spent time in Miami. A lot of those guys that filtered out, Miami took over and then they start getting rid of guys. So Gase may want to get those guys that he's familiar with into his system. Even guys on the other side of the ball, you want to talk about a guy like Roby or Harris when he was in Denver as corners that are going to be up for free agency this offseason, those are guys that you may want to bring into the fold. And if you sign a Harris or you sign a Roby, maybe that entices Adams to stay and say, hey, listen, they're helping out my defense. I don't have to do it all myself. Because you got to let this kid know that he's going to get some help at some point, or he is going to be gone.
The interesting thing for me, I think, is I don't know what Adams does this offseason. This is going to be the third year. We're in the third year of his rookie deal, so he's allowed to renegotiate his contract after this season if he wants. So we could see a holdout come August, and that's tough for me because we have the 2 more years of him under the rookie contract. We can franchise him if we so choose after that. I don't think it's going to get dragged out that far. That's why I think the Jets are going to trade him this year. I think, accelerate the offensive line rebuild and just try to, just do that. Accelerate the offensive line, not worry about the $90, $100 million contract, whatever it is. I think Sam, I'm sure Josh and all those guys, if they wind up being, the second contract kind of guys, they're going to get close to $200 million. It's going to be, Patrick Mahomes resetting the entire quarterback market.
Of course.
It's going to be insane. It's going to be absolutely insane. I know that. So I'll eject myself, Ryan, and you guys do an excellent job tonight. I'm going to watch the rest of the stream. Keep going. Go Jets.
Awesome. Good stuff, Mario. Thank you so much for calling in. That is my brother over at Hashtag Sports. Don't forget to check him out.
That's it. You're out of here.
Oh, man, I had all these little, displays. I think I can add.
I love it.
It's fantastic. The chicken took me a while to make. I have this... I have a display where I think I have both our names that I could put actually under our little boxes that I should have done earlier, and I didn't do it. So one of the things Mario brought up was contract. How much do you think Jamal Adams fetches?
He's going to get paid handsomely, and that's the thing for me. I don't know if I want to invest that much money into the strong safety position. If he's playing like he did the last 2 weeks, then yeah, maybe I will, but it's going to be a lot of money.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Call from
Who the hell's calling?
Vinny.
Vinny, what's up, brother? Welcome to the cockpit.
Hey, what's up? How do you feel after last Sunday?
After, yesterday?
Yep.
I would say I am happy with how the team looked. I'm not totally on board the tank train to tank for a draft pick. I'm happy if it happens, but I'm not beat up about it if it doesn't. What about you, Vinny? Talk to us. What are you? What are you excited about? You're kind of in that same boat.
I found the Jets' old fight song from 1964 to 1967.
I'll be honest, I'm a terrible Jets fan. I had no idea we had a fight song.
Neither did I. That's news to me.
But hey, I got a riddle for you.
All right.
When was the last time the Jets had 4 consecutive games with an opening drive touchdown?
I'm gonna say never.
I agree. Never.
Once.
What?
Ooh,
Who?
what?
1972 with Joe Namath, Don Maynard, Rich Castor, and Weeb Eubank.
All right. I would never have gotten that.
Me neither.
And here's another thing. When was the last time the Jets had this many sacks in 3 consecutive games?
I wouldn't know. We haven't really had a good sack team since 2006, I guess, since we had...
1981.
So it would be the sack exchange. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that's probably where I would have pegged it.
Yeah, no, it's a good game. It's important that the Jets win this game. But now here's going to be a real test. This is the first of what I consider the 4 real teams left on the schedule. I consider Oakland, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Buffalo as the last real teams left on the schedule.
I'd put a
right
little
now,
if
I wanna see how well
on
you play
Pittsburgh.
against
I don't know
these
what
real
Pittsburgh is right now.
I know they're not a great team, but they're well coached. They're a well coached team.
I don't like Mike Tomlin. I think he has underachieved. I think he's underachieved since he's been there. I think he's I'll give him credit because I don't like Antonio Brown, and he bottled him up.
I give him a ton of credit for that.
Yeah, I mean I have to now. And I'm not a big Tomlin fan. I think he should have won a Super Bowl, with the roster he's had and the talent he's had. I mean, he won the one, but it was kind of like right after Cowher left. So I have kind of a tough time with that.
They're still always a very consistent team. They're never like mediocre.
Yeah. Vinny, thank
But
you
yeah,
so much
oh,
for
here.
calling in. Kicking you out of the cockpit.
You got
That's it. You're out of here.
You're out of here. See, I was doing I had this little 5-minute timer. It's tough to do a 5-minute timer when we got the two of us on.
right.
I'm just going to eject people at willy-nilly. It's great. We got 71 people in the live stream. Guys, we got 25 likes. Drop a like down below if you like Matt O'Leary. Thumbs down if you don't like me. No, seriously, like all this stuff. Of course, check out Matt O'Leary. This dude knows his stuff, and we're going to do this more consistently because I really enjoy talking to you.
Absolutely, man. I'm in.
And who we got calling? Oh, we got an unknown caller.
Call from
Ricky.
Rick, what's up, dude? Welcome to the cockpit.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Hanging in
Victory
there.
Monday.
Talk to us.
Victory Monday. Hopefully everybody had a great Monday. But let's get to some football, man. So, great win. Outstanding. Go Jets, right?
Absolutely.
But it almost seems like us Jets fans have cognitive dissonance because we still need to get rid of Gase and ownership still needs to get the hell out of Dodge.
True.
Just because we put 2 freaking wins together on teams that shouldn't even be in the NFL anymore, this is just ridiculous. I
Look,
love that we won. I love that, this whole thing with the Jets. Look, this is what's going to happen. If something happens that we get blowed out the water by the Raiders, it's going to be the same old song. Everybody's going to be moping, calling for people's heads again, and then we keep playing, these games. We need to send a strong message to ownership, hey, freaking done playing grab ass over here. You either fix this team or you need to get out of Dodge.
Look, I agree. The ownership has been absolutely brutal. And I think O'Leary, I'm pretty sure you have the, sell the team shirts now.
Sell the team, baby.
He's got sell the team shirts. And it kills me. The Johnson family, and maybe I'm just hearing things now, but I'm pretty sure I remember hearing at one point that Chris Johnson did not want to fire Mike McCagnon back when we were looking for a head coach because he did not trust himself to make a head coaching decision.
That's not funny.
I was like, that's what this guy's saying. He's saying, I don't trust myself to make a head coaching decision, so we're going to let this guy spend $100 million. We're going to let him draft all these picks, and then be like, new GM.
That's crazy.
It hurts, man. Being a Jet fan is almost a curse, dude. You're either born into it or I don't know what happens, dude. But as long as these Johnsons are at the helm, we're done. We're just going to be putting on baby powder for the rest of our freaking lives and calling it a day. I don't understand this mess. I really
that's just
don't.
it. They're not fans. They're, daddy warbucks. They have trust funds set up that they just, let's buy a football team. Why not? And then they just get involved, and we get Tebow, and we get Brett Favre, and we get, stupid people.
All that nonsense.
And then freaking Peyton Manning screwed us over with these freaking endorsements. Anyway, dude, I think that moving forward, we'll see how it goes with the Raiders. If we stay competitive, if we can pull out that win, we're headed in the right direction. I'm not expecting much against Baltimore. I think our defense will keep us somewhat close in it, but I think at the end of the day, at fourth quarter, their quarterback's going to run all over us and just pull out that win. But the game I'm really interested in seeing.
I got to stop you for just a second. Sorry, V-Man to 29397 donated $2. Said Beatles' last concert newer than Super Bowl III, Matt.
Oh my God, that's just depressing. That's so depressing.
That hurts. But no, so what were you saying? You think the Ravens are going to run all over us?
Well, yeah, fourth quarter, they're just gonna give it to the quarterback. You already seen what he did against the number one defense against the Patriots. So
He's unreal.
I'm not expecting nothing different.
It's ridiculous.
I'm okay with Sam Darnold. I still prefer him over Lamar. I think Lamar could win a Super Bowl prior to Sam. I think Lamar's career might.
Sammy.
I think Lamar's career has a higher chance of being like an 8-year to 10-year career. Sam's I could see being a 15 to 20-year career.
Yeah, I agree with that. Right now, obviously Lamar looks better right now, but long term, I'm not sure how sustainable his play is for like you said, like a decade plus. Like, I don't know. I feel like he's going to be susceptible to injury with the amount that he runs. And I think he does a pretty good job right now of protecting himself. But I just don't know because we haven't seen very many quarterbacks like him. So I'm pumping the brakes a little bit. I think he's great. I think he's going to win MVP this year. But I'm still okay with Sam. I'm right there with you.
Yeah. The game I think I'm interested in seeing before, like to really gauge where we're at for the end of the season is against the Steelers, just because I see so much similarities between our teams.
Okay. Talk to me. How so?
Well,
Their offensive line's way better than ours. Their quarterback's way better than ours.
Well, I mean, you see the way freaking Adams is playing out of his mind. I mean, if he puts 2 more games like this, he might end up freaking being the defensive player of the year.
He has to do it the rest of the season because I still think the Bosa brothers are still leading the train on that. Nick Bosa is just incredible. He's not going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. He's going to win like Defensive MVP. That's like how good this guy's getting.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just think the Steelers is a good gauge because they got a rookie quarterback. He might be out a game or 2 depending on how this plays out with the whole Cleveland deal. But I don't know. I think that's going to be a good measuring stick for where we're at because when we started the year, that first game against the Bills, if we would have beat them, dude, the narrative would have been very different.
I completely agree.
Year.
Yeah, I think so.
Boom, dude! I have ejected you from the cockpit. I completely apologize for not giving you any sort of countdown. But we got to do that. We're going to move on to the next person. Who's talking? Who we got in the chat? We got Douglas, Kevin Durant, V-Man, Sports Fan, Justin Levine. My Knicks are looking good for once. I'm not watching the game, so I apologize. Didn't they lose yesterday by like a point, or was it 2 days ago?
I don't know. I'm not into the NBA. I couldn't tell you.
I'm so bad with this. 79 people in this. I like it. All right. What do you think about the defense? Do you think... Oh, never mind. Sorry. Phone call.
Call from
LJ.
LJ, what's up, dude? Welcome to the cockpit.
Well, you actually picked up. Hey, how you doing, man?
Not too bad. What's on your mind?
No, go Jets, always.
I like it.
As you said, I grew up a Jets fan with my dad, but, I mean, I'm staying here for life. But I think we need to keep Jamal Adams. I think that is a big defensive piece for us.
Now, do you think, based on his tweets and everything that he said at the trade deadline, do you think he's trying to formulate a way out or to have a back door out?
I do not. I think that he's just passionate about the team, which I understand.
Yeah, look,
he's not be trash anymore.
Now, I have a hard time believing in Jamal. It's because I bought his jersey. I love the guy. I believed in everything he had up until the trade deadline, and it came to a screeching halt for me. And I really think that maybe it's not he wants out. Maybe it's he wants to get paid so much money that he did that to have an out, so he can get out. And that, maybe is a little more respectable. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. What about Quincy Enunwa? He said something.
Quincy's done, I think. I don't think he'll ever play another snap for the Jets. Now, I do think that we will have to designate him a June 1st cut because he's going to have a certain amount of cap space because he's guaranteed for injury next year's contract. I'm pretty sure. And so if he doesn't clear, whatever tests or whatever he's got to do, I think we have to pay him his full salary, in which case he's a June 1st cut, and he'll spread the cap over 2 years. But I think, God, I don't know. What do you think about Quincy Enunwa? Do you think he ever plays again?
I do not think that he plays again, mainly because I don't think that he's falling in favor with either Joe Douglas or Coach Gase. I don't think Coach Gase has done as bad as everyone thinks. Because you got to notice what he has around him and what he has to work with. And he's making with what he has. Well, we're going against lower tier teams, but he's making with what he has.
I'm encouraged by what I've seen recently from Adam Gase. I'm cautiously optimistic. I want to see it against the rest of the schedule. if what we heard from Chris Johnson is true, Gase will be back for 2020. He's going to be here for all, or at least part of next year. So let's see what we can get out of him for the rest of the year. And
That's true.
I think there's probably something to be said for us not getting rid of him. One, because we'd be paying 3 head coaches. I've said that before. But
Yeah.
2,
And we keep the same system.
you keep the same
It's not
system.
confusing.
That's a big thing I hear a lot of people say. I also hear, you fire a coach after 1 year, you don't support him halfway through the season. If Chris Johnson were to say, "Oh, we'll see after the season," no head coach is going to want to go to the Jets after what Adam Gase has had to go through with the injuries. I'm just curious to see if his training regimen is what's causing the injuries, because he had a bunch of injuries in Miami too. Like, is something he doing? Good words. is something that he does in training camp or whatever he's doing causing these injuries?
We just need not to get Blessy on hurt again. He is our shining knight in armor right now.
Who are you talking about, Jamal Adams or Adam Gase?
No, Blessy on
Austin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look, fingers crossed, if this dude could turn into a lockdown corner, if he could turn into a starter, that's huge. Just a starter is huge. If he could turn into like a lockdown stud, I don't know what to do.
That is great upside. I mean, we got rid of our 3rd round pick for nothing. Bro,
I was so wrong on Ja'Kai Polite. So wrong.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you. I was
so high on him. I thought he looked like Jadeveon Clowney. I really thought he was going to be something. And then he just wouldn't actually play football. Do what he was supposed to.
Dude, I completely agree. Ja'Kai Polite has been a total bust. I don't even know if is he even on a team right now? He got cut from Seattle.
Yeah, he's out of the
He
league.
did?
What a jamoke.
I'm pretty sure he's on another team, man. That is awful.
It's terrible. Dude, thank you so much for calling in. I gotta get a little hot button for this ejector seat.
Listen, you're out of here!
Just moving on along through phone calls. Checking the chat every now and then. I wouldn't spend money on Sheriff, Dan DePanda. Look, I don't know what to think about Sheriff. I don't know if he's actually going to hit free agency. I think Washington's actually going to re-sign him.
Probably. I'd want him, though. I think he's one of the better right guards in the game.
I think he's significantly better than Brian Winters, and we have to help Darnold. So he would be my top free agent. Let's see. What do we got going on? Who would you guys cut this offseason and sign this offseason? Nick Mazzy. I would say first cut right off the bat, Tremaine Johnson. Get out of here.
100%. He's got to go.
Brian Winters, out of here. I'm trying to think what other one. Darryl Roberts, another big one. Gone. Those are easy. I would bring back the punter. I don't know what we have to give him. I'm happy with what he's done so far. I think he's actually been one of the better punters in the league. Kicker, I'm totally up in the air for kicker. I don't care if we keep Ficken or not.
Call from
Dan the Panda.
Oh man, Dan DePanda, what's up, dude?
Hey, long time no. I mean, no. Sorry, long time not calling in. I've been busy. Yeah.
What's on your mind?
Why the comment on Shrift is Washington didn't pick up his 5th-year option, so I don't think they're gonna sign him.
They did pick up his 5th-year option because this is his 5th year.
Is it?
Yeah, because he was drafted the same year as Leonard Williams, and Leonard Williams was on his 5th-year option.
My bad.
You're wrong.
I don't know. I rather trade down and get the Wisconsin center who could play center and guard, rather than spend big money. I rather spend big money on the tackles.
I think we're going to have to do both because, I mean, look, I don't know if there's a good left tackle hitting the market. I think, I want to say either is it Lawan Taylor from Tennessee that I think is a free agent, and I think there's a guy from the Eagles. Is Lane Johnson maybe a free agent?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but there aren't many big-time free agent offensive linemen hitting the market, I don't think.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing. That's why Sheriff is going to be such a sought-after piece.
Right. If he hits the market, I think you got to break the bank for him, especially if you're able to create more cap space by cutting guys like Johnson and, the guys we just ran through, Winters and stuff like that. I think you got to go for, a big position in need on the O-line.
Boom! you're getting ejected. Sorry, I couldn't hear you. And you were right.
Listen, you're out.
Thank you for calling in. I appreciate it, Dan the Panda. I will talk to you again. The issue, so we got T-Jazz Jr. saying we aren't getting Sheriff. I think the biggest issue with us getting Sheriff is that free agents get to choose where they want to go. And I don't think the Jets are going to be a desirable location. I think we're going to have a very tough time getting free agents to come here.
Yeah, you're probably right with that. I would not be surprised at all if they're not able to draw. I mean, they've been bad for a while, so.
Call from
Matt.
Matt, what's up, dude? Welcome to the Cockpit.
What's up? All right. So it's too early to tell. Like, if you had to redo our 2019 draft, like, what would you pick?
I would definitely go with. It's either going to be Josh Allen, the pass rusher, or I wish we knew what we could have gotten in a trade down, because I would have, if the tackle that the Eagles got, what the hell's his name? They got a good tackle, and I think he was from Ole Miss. We need linemen. Based on what I saw out of the offensive linemen, I think I would have tried to take someone, although I think Jonah Williams, which is who a lot of people were talking about, really did not play well.
He got hurt.
Yeah, he got hurt. And I think that was in preseason. I don't think we ever got to see him play.
Yeah, it was in preseason.
Yeah, I don't know. So let's say Josh Allen in the first round. In the third round, you take Winovich. I think that's probably what you wind up doing instead of Ja'Kai Polite. Edoga in the third round. I don't know many of the players beyond that, and he's been serviceable at right tackle. I would never put him at left tackle again. I think he's only good on that, right tackle. I would try him at right guard if Shell can hold this. I would play with all the pieces. I think Compton's looking pretty good at right guard right now for Winters. I think Lewis is looking pretty good at left guard for Osemele, now that Osemile's gone. I don't know.
To me, the big one was Josh Allen in the first round. That's the pick that I wanted from the get-go, and I am not going to get over that one anytime soon.
I was so wrong on him, too. I trusted whoever we chose on defense because of Greg Williams. Mm-hmm. I preferred what should I say? I should say I preferred Nick Bosa, then I preferred trade down, then it was Quinnen Williams over Josh Allen. And that was just because Josh Allen ran free all the time in college. And I was like, oh, you know what? I'm seeing a fake, pass rusher. It's totally this guy Ja'Kai Polite so much better because he's got spin moves and he's got swim moves, and I could not have been more wrong. Andre Dillard, that was the guy that the Eagles got. Thank you for chiming in chat. I think the big first one would be obviously Josh Allen over Quinnen Williams.
Yeah, I think instead of Chuma Edoga, I mean, the guy hasn't played for the Patriots yet, but his name's Yanni Kajus from West Virginia. I think he's pretty good.
I haven't watched anything about him. I don't know anything. I apologize.
Yeah. I think he was picked 2 picks right after.
Oh, okay. Very interesting. What else is on your mind? What do you think about Jamal Adams?
I think he's once in a generation type demeanor, but I don't know if you build around a strong safety.
I think that's what's tough for me. I think you can get 85% of the production you've gotten from Jamal over the course of his 3 years for pennies on the dollar. That's the biggest thing for me. I think you can bring in a strong safety for, call it $5 million a year, whatever it is, $8 million a year at most. And I think you could get relatively similar production rather than paying Jamal Adams $15 million a year or whatever he's looking for, 6 years, nearly $20 million probably. He's going to, talk to himself as a pass rusher / a cornerback. He's this hybrid piece. What's he going to get? I don't know. I mean, what did what's his face get? Collins. Landon Collins just got 6 years, $75 million or $80 million or something.
Yeah, he got a lot.
Yeah, I think you're close to 80.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. Dude, thank you so much for calling in. And you have been ejected from the
You're out of here!
Oh god, this is great. I gotta get a little button board so I can just push the button rather than trying to drag the mouse around for these things. What else we got going on? Trash Colin Harrison is actually better at guard. I think he's better at center right now because Khalil blows and is injured.
True. I was very wrong on that. I thought he'd be a confident center, Khalil.
Yeah, so was I. I mean, look, I'll admit, I don't mind missing on Khalil. I like that we went out of our way to pull a guy out of retirement. rather than trying to find a free agent or anything like that. Like I think Joe Douglas did the right thing in turning over every stone.
Grandpa Mark.
Grandpa Mark, welcome to the cockpit.
Jamal's gotta go.
Jamal's got to go. Grandpa Mark, are you a subscriber of Matt O'Leary?
Of course I am. I subscribed to Mr. O'Leary, I think, when he had about 60 subscribers.
Wow.
Real
Mr.
I'm
Mark.
there for a while. I don't comment much, Matt, but Matt, I got to tell you, I love you. I love your content. I believe you're a Long Island boy, which
Correct.
I am, so it's Mets, Jets, and Islanders, and I'm going to be looking forward to a lot of good Islander content in the future.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
But yeah, Jamal's got to go. I don't want to hear any of this. He's a generational type player. He's going to be the MVP. All right, who cares? If he can get the Jets, if he can fetch some high draft picks and some good draft picks, he's got to go. The foundation of this team has been a shambles, and I am talking about the offensive line. It's been a shambles for years. That is the number one priority, and if we can get some good, like I said, if we can get some good picks for Adams, he's got to go. And I'm going to say the same thing about Le'Veon Bell. They all got to go.
I'm not as against the Le'Veon Bell thing as I probably once was. I'm more on board with holding on to him at least for another year just to see what he can do behind a good offensive line. I mean, look, if we can get, something a little more substantial for him, I don't think we'll get a whole lot because he's a high-priced running back. But, maybe the Jets can eat some of his contract, get a higher draft pick, similar to the way the Browns took on Brock Osweiler, taking on a heavy contract, getting a draft pick, something to that, only slightly reversed.
Now, let me ask you something. Why is Ty Montgomery on this team?
I don't know. I think we're all on the same page with this. I don't see why this guy's not getting the ball. He looked good in preseason. He looked like he was going to be sharing the load with Le'Veon Bell, and we haven't seen remotely, anything close to that.
Well, all I know is I am a very happy Jet fan. All I know is I think have you guys heard anything about what the story is with my old friend Brett Cavalli? Is he on IR? Has he been let go? Does anybody know?
I think he's on IR. I'm pretty sure he's been on IR since preseason.
Okay. Well, like I said, I'm a very happy fan. Cavalli's still on IR. Brian Winters is on IR, and hopefully he will be gone. So, look, we've won 2 games in a row, so right now, I'm a happy camper.
So are you ever going to be on the tank and get a good lineman train? Or are you like, hey, I want the Jets to go 9-7 right now?
What? 9-7?
I'm just, hey, you know what? Obviously, look, if you can go 9-7, you want the 9-7. But do you want to win the games that people, come draft time, are going to say, oh, we won that meaningless game against Washington. We beat that meaningless game against the Giants. And, that tackle that we really wanted was picked 2 picks ahead of us because of it.
Well, you want to know, look, I don't believe look, everybody's saying Miami's tanking and they're trying to lose on purpose. No, they're not. They're really not. They still want to win. I mean, you still want to win these games, but as far as the Jets are concerned, no, I don't want to tank. And we're definitely not going to go 9-7.
No, definitely not. I think 5-11 is probably.
I mean, I just want them. Look, a win is a win. If we win 2 more games, if we win 3 more games, it is what it is, and we pick as best we can, or we trade down, or we, hopefully Douglas pulls something out of his hat and he makes something happen with the draft, and hopefully he'll draft wisely. But no, I don't want to see us not win another game.
I completely agree. I got to take one quick thing. VMan29397 donated $5. Says my high school in Peekskill was the Jets training camp from 1963 to 1968. In fact, one of the teachers in my high school had the players jump in his pool.
That's awesome.
That's incredible. There's
Wait a minute. Who jumped in his pool?
The players, not in his pool, in one of his high school teachers' pools back in the 63 to 68 range. And that's ridiculous.
Okay.
It's kind of cool.
That
Well, I gotta
sounds
read
fun.
it. Dude donated $5. Hell yeah, I'm gonna read it.
Yeah, for $5. That was a lot of fun.
So, Grandpa Mark, what do you think
Yeah.
of Quinnen Williams? You think we trade him?
No. He's a rookie. What, are you going to trade him after one season? Let me ask you guys this. Do you think that there's any possibility that Quinnen Williams is still nursing that ankle injury?
Yeah, I think so. If it was a high sprain, like a high ankle sprain, that takes a while to come back from. And being the type of, I guess, high ankle sprain, regardless of position, is probably bad. I mean, maybe you get away with it if it's your like not dominant foot as a maybe a lineman or something like that. But I don't know. I'm hoping that's the issue. I hope it's like, you know,
I honestly think that that's playing a big part of this. Why he's not performing the way we're expecting him to. I really think that he still is nursing that a little bit.
I agree. Now, what do you think? Are you on the fire Gase train? What do you think about his play calling the last few weeks?
Look, I've said it once. I've said it a million times. I never liked Gase. I never liked the hire. I don't like his style of offense. I don't like the word guru. I don't like any of that crap. The way I see it is I want somebody to take the Jets back to the way they were whenever they won. Solid offensive line, smash mouth football, and dominant defense. That's what I like. I like old time football. This new stuff and the Gase's system and whatever, I have no stomach for it whatsoever. And yes, I think he should be fired.
Love it.
Yeah, I completely agree. Now, what is your take on Dowell Loggins looking like Patton Oswalt?
I like Patton Oswalt.
He looks exactly like the damn guy.
That's the first time I've heard that. And you want to know something? Now that I think about it, he does look like Patton Oswalt.
He looks exactly like him. I saw someone said, Dowell Loggins sucks, and I was like, well, I got to bring this up now because this is like, it's too ridiculous. If you don't know who Patton Oswalt is, you guys that are on YouTube, the 72 of you guys watching, just open up a side tab, type in Oswald Patton, and you'll be like, oh my God, he's our offensive coordinator / running back or lineman coach or whatever.
/ challenge man.
That's very funny. That's very funny. He does look like him. He does. But, all right, I'll let you go take some more calls. And O'Leary, you're going to be going places, buddy. I'm telling you.
I appreciate that, man. That's really nice of you.
All right. Have a good night, gentlemen.
Take it easy, dude. Grandpa Mark, everyone. I love me some Grandpa Mark.
Good guy.
I'm thinking we might have to do. We were talking about doing some more Jets panel type stuff. We had reached out to Howie over at Jets HQ and Gangrene David, so we were going to get the four of us doing this. I'd like to work on something that we can get, all four of us on, or do some type of game show. Maybe we bring in I've been talking to some Dolphins guys. Dougley do wrong. Dougley do something or other. Miami Dolphins fan, talking to him. # Sports is always fun coming on here. I'm sure the Entertainer and those guys would probably come on at some point. I'd like to figure out some way to do some kind of game and figure out how many people it works with, or if it's just one big panel that we just talk over each other and then no one winds up hearing anything.
I feel like it's more the latter, unfortunately.
That's probably true. I think O'Leary and I, and you guys let us know in the comments if you want to see us do more Dougley do right. that was Dougley do wrong. If you guys want to see O'Leary and I do more stuff together, guys, I've reached out to Jet Central. I see Manny Roman over there saying Jet Central. Ian did not want to do our little thing that we were trying to get together. I've been too busy to actually attempt to do this anyway. But if you guys want to see more of me and O'Leary, let me know, because this is something I like doing. I like collabing with people.
Yeah, it's fun, man.
It's a blast.
Magnus.
Magnus, what's up, dude? Welcome to the Cockpit.
What's up, Ryan?
Another day, another dollar. What's on your mind, brother?
I hear you. I just wanted to get off my chest a little bit about Adam Gase.
What do you want to
I
talk
might
about?
I might be one of the few Jets fans that actually have faith in Adam Gase.
Okay, talk to me.
I'll hear it out.
Now, I do see that a lot of people want to fire him, but like, what did people really expect going into the season? Like, people expect our record to be like what, 10-6, 9-7. Realistically, we weren't gonna go 11-5. If we were just being honest.
No, look, I thought an optimistic outlook for us was probably 10-6. I figured we'd probably be around 8-8, and
right.
I think based on the injuries and what I've seen and having Sam Darnold go out and all this different stuff that's happened, I think whatever coach came in would have failed this season, and I don't think we would have had many wins. Although I will say this, I think the team would have looked more prepared than what we have looked like under Gase up until the last 2 games. So it's really are we turning a corner right now, or are we just seeing bottom feeders play each other?
Now, how prepared? I don't know how prepared any other coach would have got a Luke Falk led team.
I agree.
The bottom 5 offensive line, I really have a hard time believing even the top head coaches. Granted, we could have put up a bigger fight in the Philly game. Okay, that I understand. But with Luke Falk at the helm and our patchwork of an offensive line we have, I don't know. Regardless, they would have been losses.
Look, I think this team was going to be bad regardless. I think there was no way that we could have sustained all these injuries with the lack of depth we have and been successful this season. I think Gase deserves. I think it's tough to fire Gase based on what we've seen. As far as I'm grading him based on his time in Miami, which probably isn't fair to an extent either. But then you look at Tannehill in the Titans is looking pretty good right now. Sam looked like he regressed up until the last 2 weeks from last season. So it's tough for me to grade much about the Jets right now.
But when the Dolphins did have a healthy roster with Tannehill at QB, they did make the playoffs. You got to remember that.
Yeah, did they? I think they had I think they snuck in at 10-6, right?
And they got blown out by the Steelers in the wild card game.
Yeah. Was that when Tannehill got hurt, or did he get hurt the following year?
He missed a couple. I know. I went to a game in 2016 where Matt Moore destroyed the Jets on a Saturday night. That sucked.
That's terrible. Look, I don't know. I think I agree. I think Gase deserves the benefit of the doubt. We know he's coming back for next year, at least right now. Let's see what Joe Douglas can do. If Joe Douglas thinks his scouting background
needs to be put on Joe Douglas, the pressure needs to be put on him this offseason.
Well, look, I completely agree. If you look at Joe Douglas and he's got the scouting background, he's drafted 2 Hall of Fame caliber offensive linemen. Dillard looks like he's going to be pretty good for the Eagles. I think if Douglas feels like he can hit on linemen, we got Lewis and we got Compton for pretty cheap. I don't know if did we get Compton with Douglas, or was he was he a
with
McCagnon?
Douglas,
I think McCagnon.
He might have been McCagnon. So we got Lewis, and Lewis has been playing well so far, and that was for nothing. So if he thinks, hey, look, I know where I can get offensive linemen, I don't need to spend a high caliber pick on him. That's when you take a stud wide receiver or a cornerback or something like that in the first round. If this guy believes in his scouting potential and who he can bring in for the offensive line, O-line is going to be the big thing. Thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate it. Definitely call in again. I apologize I didn't give you any heads up. Chicken.
You're out of here!
What do we got going on in the chat? Seeing people talking about Le'Veon. Should he be traded? Jerry Jeudy. Better to win. Momentum into next year. Yeah, I completely agree. I would like to see us win, because the more we win, the more faith I have in Adam Gase for next year, the more faith I have in Sam Darnold moving forward. I'm 110% behind Sam Darnold, and if Darnold fails, I believe it's fully on the Jets. I think this guy's legit.
Yeah, he's got all the talent. I'm with you.
Call from
Peter.
Peter Pumpkin Eater. Welcome to the Cockpit.
And how you doing, man?
Not too bad. What's going on?
Not much, man. Same old, man. I'm just excited about the win, especially for the fact that I attended the game yesterday.
Oh, I like it. Very cool. So you got tickets. How much did you pay for tickets? Because I heard rumors they were like $30 tickets. I had one of my buddies go down there, actually.
Yeah, it depends on where you want to sit. The bottom was between like 45 to 50 bucks. Can't
that's
argue
awesome.
with that.
Nice.
I'm actually going to the Jets-Raiders game this weekend. The Bearcats, Binghamton, where I went to college, they have an alumni ticket sale kind of thing. So I got a ticket and tailgate for like $40. So I get to go.
Good deal.
That's a steal right there.
Shabby. Yeah, not too bad. I'm waiting for the tickets to go down as cheap as the $5 or $13 beers or whatever they did last year.
Yeah.
That will eventually happen, maybe. No, I'm excited. What do you think about this upcoming game with the Raiders? Based on what you saw in Washington, do the Jets have a chance against the Raiders?
If the O-line can protect Sam Darnold the way they did yesterday, then yes. Because the Raiders, they cannot. Their running defense is terrible.
Now, I do think the Raiders are better than we've seen. They've played, I think, the hardest strength of schedule, if I'm not mistaken. I'll actually do a little.
I feel like I've heard that too.
Let me see. Background check.
If I'm not mistaken, the next two after us, they're supposed to play Kansas City and Tennessee. That's all I know right now.
I'm totally wrong. Maybe it was recently the last few weeks because their strength of schedule is not very good. It's actually .457. The Jets is .481. So we've actually played a harder schedule, which is kind of bananas for me. I thought we were way lower than that.
I would have thought so too.
It has flip-flopped on us. I don't know. So you think I don't even know who's on the Raiders anymore. I know Josh Jacobs. I know Derek Carr. I don't know if I could tell you. No, Antonio Brown's not.
Yeah, well, the tight end has had a great year, Waller.
I do know that. I knew the tight end was doing well. I didn't know what his name was. I don't watch many of the West Coast games. I wind up watching like a Jet game, and I'm like, oh, I'm just so tired of seeing bad football. And then I don't feel like watching too many other games. I wind up watching like the Thursday night game and the Monday night game usually.
Oh yeah. Also, now that we're talking about West Coast and all that, 60% at the time, West Coast teams don't really play that good when they have to travel to the East Coast.
That's true, and then it's the same thing when you do East Coast to West Coast. West Coast, I think, is worse because a 1 o'clock game for them is now 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's 3 hours.
Yeah. It's a 3-hour difference in Cali.
Yeah, that throws you for a loop for sure. I don't know where they played. See, this is such a waste of a Jets season for me because it's like we had the easiest strength of schedule. Tom Brady's another year older. He doesn't have Gronkowski. They don't have, the Jets are traveling. I think the furthest west we go is the Bengals. And
I'm not too worried about that.
This schedule was set up perfectly for a good season. We have more talent than we had last year. Sam Darnold's another year older. And the fact that we got more from Todd Bowles than we're getting from Adam Gase is so frustrating for me.
It is, man. But you know what, man? I believe in this team, and the same momentum we had yesterday is the same momentum we got to keep. I know it's not going to be easy, but at the same time, we all got to stay positive. You feel me?
So we got Magnus Hansen in the chat saying Tyrell Williams versus Bless Austin is the matchup to watch. That's phenomenal. I forgot Tyrell Williams was over there. I was a big Tyrell Williams fan. I actually wanted the Jets to sign him. I didn't think we were going to get him, but big wide receiver, was from the Chargers, went to Oakland this past offseason. And if Austin can cover Tyrell Williams, we'll know just what kind of corner Austin is. At least, more than we have the last 2 weeks. I don't trust anything we saw the last 2 weeks out of Austin.
Mm-hmm. So basically you're saying this game will determine on where we really are.
Yeah, I think this is more of a litmus test than, the last few games have been for sure.
Yeah, definitely. When you look at, the Raiders are a more complete team. I think if the season ended today, they'd be the 6th seed, no?
The Raiders would be, I just had it up, mother.
I think the 6th seed.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Buffalo's currently number 5 right now.
They would not be the 6th seed. So, as it stands right now, New England, San Francisco would be the 1 seeds. The 2 seeds would be Baltimore and New Orleans. The 3 seeds would be Seattle and Buffalo. Then you have Green Bay and Houston.
The 4 seeds will be Kansas City and Dallas.
It would be Kansas. Well, on the AFC side, it would be Kansas City and the Colts would be the wild card.
Okay.
Yeah,
or no, I guess it would be Buffalo. Buffalo would be a wild. I'm sorry, I'm reading it wrong. I'm trying to read Tankathon upside down.
Buffalo is number 5, and I think
Oakland's just outside. Yeah, so So the Colts would be the Colts would be a wild card. The Bills would be a wild card. The Kansas City Chiefs would be division winner. Houston Texans would be a division winner. New England and Baltimore would be the division winners. In the AFC, Oakland's just sitting on the outside along with the Titans. So the Titans are 5-5. Oakland's 6-4. The wild card teams are 6-4 as well. So they're all tied at top that sort of threshold.
They're
Well,
a
at
decent
this
team.
point, if we want to have like a little bit of faith, Kansas City needs to do us the favor like right now and take care of the Chargers.
Look, so if we're talking, I think the Jets are going to have so many tiebreakers going against them between the Browns, the Patriots, the Bills, Jacksonville, all these losses that we have. Even if the Jets turn it around, we got 7 losses right now.
Hey, but you know what? Let me put it to you this way. I was looking at the Colts schedule earlier today, and they've already lost to Miami, they lost to Pittsburgh, and they lost to the Raiders. And that so happens that we played these 3 teams.
Okay, that's fair. Look, losing to the Dolphins, although they didn't have Brissett in, gives us hope, I guess. Maybe the tiebreaker goes our way. I mean, we're still picking 5th right now. And what's crazy is, dude, I don't know. If we wind up winning, and then I'd have to look at what the schedule is coming up, but we'd fall from 5th down to the 10th pick. So we probably 9-7 might get you into a wild card this year in the AFC. I don't think the AFC is that good. Outside of the top 3 in the AFC, that's where it's going to be. It's going to be New England, Baltimore, or the Chiefs are going to represent the AFC.
100%.
I don't think anyone stands a chance outside of that.
Let me put it to you guys this way. The way Kansas City's defense is terrible, and I don't even think they can make a strong run like they did last year.
Yeah, but Patrick Mahomes is so good. That's just it, dude. I'm ejecting you from the cockpit just because I didn't like that. I'm a jerk.
You're out of here!
Dude, thank you for calling in. I appreciate it. Look, I think the AFC is going to go through New England. It's going to go through Kansas City. It's going to go through Baltimore. And I think Baltimore is just one of those teams that's just so explosive. You can never count out Lamar Jackson. What he's doing is nothing short of Michael Vick Madden 2004 incredible.
Well, it's Vic 04. That's the only thing I can relate to it.
Detonator 10, what's up, dude? Welcome to the cockpit.
Yo, how you doing?
Not too bad, hanging out. Are you subscribed to Matt O'Leary?
I am not. I actually just found out his channel through you now. So
well, guess
I'll
what? Go
check
into
him out.
the description of this video. There's a link to his channel. I tried to put it as the first link, but when I try to stream, it winds up putting all these other links ahead of it. It's like 3 links down. Click on his thing, subscribe, then I'll start talking to you. Don't do it.
All right, 1 second.
Do it right now.
I love it. Thank you.
Aggressive. I'm a salesman. I
If
try
you
to
hear my
sell.
phone tapping, that's because it has a glitch, and therefore you're going to hear a tap. All right, the description.
I'll hear a tap.
All right, let me try to find him. Okay, and subscribed.
Ha! All right. What's on your mind, dude?
All right, so yeah, honestly, I really, really kind of like, why can't we be in the NFC East?
Be 3-1. Look.
No, but in all seriousness, that was a great team when we had this past Sunday, and I think that we gotta keep the momentum going. I mean, I remember last year we used to have like this. This year it hasn't been like a 3-sided win. We got special teams in there as well because last year we had Darryl Roberts and Jason Myers, kicking ass on their end. But like, you know what? I think all in all, the defense and offense have been improving. So,
look, I agree. I think we haven't seen a full offense, defense, special teams, and who would have thought losing Jason Meyer would be as big of a hit as it's really been? It's been rough. I did. I don't think we've missed much. I don't think we've missed much from Darryl Roberts. Like, I think kickoffs, if they eliminated kickoffs entirely, I wouldn't be upset. I think it's such a waste of a play now. It's like frustrating.
Every time, man. Just start on the 25.
Now, these are some things that I want to talk about for the XFL. Things that I think they'll wind up doing. I think they'll take away kickoffs, or they're going to wind up making it more aggressive and fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted the AAF to really be a good alternative to test rules and test things. They did so many things right. The 40-second play clock starting as soon as the player is tackled, shortens the game tremendously, is absolutely incredible. The no kickoffs, great idea. Side-by-side commentary, perfect when they go to commercials. I hope the NFL tries to do more of this, and it would just make the game go so much better. It sucks because they're going to lose money, and no one wants to lose the ad revenue from commercials and all that stuff because no one wants to see stock go down or, I don't know, whatever. I don't know. But I agree. We haven't seen a 3-team or 3-sided win yet. Not that we've seen many
I'm
wins.
waiting for that. I'm waiting for that. I mean, like, because I like our special teams coach that we had. I think do we keep him this year from last year? We still the same guy, right? Or no?
Dude, I have no idea who our special teams coach is. I'm going to look it up right this second. The last special teams coach I actually took note of was Westhoff, and we haven't had him for like 6 or 7 years now.
It's something with a B, I think, right? I'm blanking on it. This is
I got it. Wikipedia's popping up. Boyer.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, yeah, yes. Okay.
I like it.
So, yeah, I mean, honestly, I really like this stuff. Man, Sam Ficken needs to, like, chill out sometimes. It's like, how does he like, miss the 40, yet make the 50, but yet miss the 50, yet make the 40? Like, he's just all over the place, man.
I think what we're getting at is typical for kickers. I think it's... I mean, look, you're not going to get... I'm watching Myers kick great field goals in Seattle. I'm like, no, he was ours. We could have blown some cap space on him. We could have just given it. Be like, hey, we'll give you Ja'Kai Polite, Seattle. Just, give us our kicker back. Come on. What did we do wrong?
Oh, Ja'Kai Polite. I mean, don't remind me of that guy.
Dude, that's what's crazy. Okay, I'm grabbing another beer. You can continue talking.
Okay, cool. Yo, what's up, guys? Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, so.
What else you got?
How you been?
I'm doing good, man. I'm excited to be on. I never did a live stream like this before, but it's dope.
Oh, it sounds amazing, actually.
Thank you.
It's a great community to be by. So yeah.
Dude, we see O'Leary on the Cockpit. He can co-pilot with me anytime. I like this, and I like the. There's something. I think you know what turned me on to your channel, Matt.
What's that?
Oh God.
I was clicking through other. Well, it's nothing bad. No, I'm clicking through different channels, and I hear other Jet fans talking. I'm like, all right, whatever, it's cool. But I started listening to you, and the crisp audio captured it for me. I was like, yes.
See, I told you before we got started that really makes a difference to me. So I'm trying to go all out for that.
No, it's the right way to do it. And I just bought a Yeti mic, probably. I don't know, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks? No, it's got to be close to a month ago now. I had this old mic that was, halfway decent. I don't know if I have it. I had this Zoom H1, which worked pretty well, but crisp audio is just so fantastic. The first live stream I did, and I've come a long way since then. The first live stream I did, it was the Jets Le'Veon Bell one. We had like 250 people in the chat. We're like, oh my God, this is going to happen. And I go back and I rewatch it, and the audio was hot garbage. Oh God, that killed me. Something happened with the audio, and it destroyed everything I did. And I wanted to cry. I was like, I sound like an asshat. I wound up taking the stream down.
Wow.
I actually don't post any of my streams anymore.
Okay.
Just because I want people to tune in while they're actually happening.
Okay.
I don't know if I might wind up changing that. We'll see.
So what do you think about Jordan Jenkins?
Jordan Jenkins, I'm excited. O'Leary, I know he wants to re-sign him. I think you said that in your mock draft. I'm right on board. I think you have to re-sign him. He's been a steady, consistent guy, good edge setter. For me, almost feels like a Brian Thomas type of player with a little Calvin Pace in him. That's kind of like, I feel like he's a better pass rusher than Brian. But I don't know. Look, I don't know what we wind up getting him for. I think in my mock I put him at $8 million a year, 3-year, $24 million. I think is what I wound up giving him. I would be all for bringing him back, and I think it's important for a Jets team that hasn't had many players on second contracts to start getting players on second contracts, and he's earned it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like, I feel like, maybe possibly an $8 million 4-year deal. So, like, I don't know, so that'd be like 30 32 and all.
4-year deal would be 32. I mean, maybe he gets a 4-year deal. Let me see. He's what do we call him? I guess he's 3-4 outside linebacker.
Yeah.
He's
Kendall Copeland's are right outside, I think.
Dante Fowler got 1 year, $12 million. He's more of a pass rusher, I feel like. Although if Jordan Jenkins winds up, getting a few more sacks over the course of the year, so Dante Fowler got 1 year, $12 million. Figure that's a little bit on the high end because it's 1 year. He probably would have gotten 10 on a multi-year deal. So figure Jenkins is around there, maybe between 8 and 10.
Because he almost got one yesterday, but Jamal Adams kind of touched first.
I saw that sack. I was like, oh, Jamal's gonna get an extra sack on his stat line. I don't know if that's really him that caused it. I mean, he cleaned it up, but that was a Jenkins.
Yeah, I spoke to Jordan Jenkins, like, Jenkins, just touch him. He's like, oh. I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, totally doesn't get the sack now.
Yeah, I should count as a half sack. They're almost like basically right there at least. So
I don't know if I don't think they gave him a half sack though. I'm pretty sure they.
I said they should have gave him.
No, I agree.
Definitely. I just think honestly I want to see Quinn Williams develop a little bit more. I mean, I understand like right now he hasn't been producing a lot of sacks, and I know we said the same thing about Leonard at first, but Leonard had a good rookie season, but like
we wound up trading Leonard for a third and a fourth. God damn it! If Quinn Williams turns into another Leonard Williams, I'm gonna flip my desk out the window.
I don't think that's the case. At least Quinn Williams, he again I know like the whole like he was close. He slammed what's his face to the ground, Dwayne Askins into the ground, and it's just of course just like Leo, like always a second late, but like he also plays a different position where it's hard to dig through the trenches. Like he plays defensive tackle usually.
Look, I watched the Brett Coleman video on Quinnen Williams, and I was all about this dude being the next Aaron Donald, and I want to just see some Aaron Donald type moves. I get it, he's a rookie. Donald didn't take off, until probably year 2 or 3, but
So we have hope.
We have hope. All we have is hope. We've had hope every single year. This is what this goddamn ownership sells us every single season.
It's true.
Can Johnson sell us to like I don't know the guy of Amazon?
Bezos. He wants a team. Dude, we could Amazon drop players their contracts. We're just gonna 1-day delivery. Like, hey, guess what? It's way better. I would be all for the Johnson selling this team. Instead of hiring a plane to fly around MetLife, we should all donate a bunch of money into a GoFundMe. All the fans will wind up like Green Bay, where all the fans will wind up owning the team. We'll buy it for, I don't know, what is it going to be? It's going to be like $4 billion. You know how long it would take to get $4 billion from Jet fans? Even if you took dollar donations from the 70,000 people that might show up to a game, it'd take you forever to get the amount of money.
Good thought, but not happening.
I don't know. Maybe I'll start a movement. We'll get a GoFundMe going, and we'll get $4 billion to buy the Jets. That's what's going to happen.
Of course. We got to get Jay-Z to help us out. You know what I mean?
That's what we need. We need Jay-Z. Yo, Jay-Z, you could be our owner. I like it. I'm ejecting you from the cockpit because I've been talking to you for way too long.
That's it. You're out of here.
Who else we got? What are you guys thinking in the chat? I hear you guys bitching. Gary V.
I love Gary.
I don't know much about Gary V. I don't know where he made all his money from, unless he's just a motivational speaker.
He started like a wine company, and then it blew up from that. Apparently.
Really? I've watched some of his videos. I haven't followed him too closely.
Call from
Brian.
Brian, what's up, dude?
What's up, TikTok and Metal Leader?
What's on your mind? Welcome to the cockpit. Where are you calling from? I like hearing where you guys call from.
New York.
That's very vague.
Long Island area?
Long Island. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Are you subscribed to Matt O'Leary?
Yes, I am.
Damn right you are.
Just grabbed the other day when
All right, what's on your mind?
Yeah. I was just thinking about this the other day. Adam Gase goes like 7-9. I'm actually not too mad with the season because our team
Look, the teams we have left that we should beat. We should beat Miami. We should beat the Bengals. That puts us at 5-11. To get to 7-9, we're probably gonna have to beat the Steelers and I would say the Bills because I don't see us beating the Ravens. Who else we got?
Raiders and Steelers. You're missing.
Raiders. No, I said Steelers. Raiders.
Steelers, Bills, Ravens.
All right, so it's got to be. We have to beat the
Dolph-
Bills.
Oh yeah, and Dolphins and Bengals.
Dolphins, Bengals, and then you'd have to beat. Yeah, no, dude. Who do you think we're beating?
Yeah, no.
You think we'll beat the
Like
Bills?
that 7-9, 6-10 range.
If we can get 7-9, I'd be very happy for what this season wound up being. I could live with 7-9. I think 5-11 is the most likely outcome.
Agree.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a little too optimistic. But I mean, like I saw on FS1, they were saying like we're like the Noah's Ark of football teams. Like we need 2 corners, 2 tackles, 2 guards, 2 receivers. Need everything.
That's two of everything. You're not wrong. We need pass rushers.
Definitely.
Look, if Jamal Adams can be our pass rusher in some capacity, I've always wondered why we didn't utilize him more along the line of scrimmage than we did. Like he came up in run support, but I love the way he's been blitzing the last 2 weeks. He just looks like he gets it. Brian Poole's the same way. I would blitz Brian Poole and Jamal Adams to try and get our pressure more than I think we have.
Yeah, I know. People keep saying like Jamal's more like linebacker, not like safety. But I mean,
well, it's like what was it? Mark Barron. I think Mark Barron transitioned from safety to linebacker.
Yeah, he did.
And you know what? I'm okay with Jamal doing that. If he can play like outside linebacker for us, and you fill in safety with maybe you bring back Rontez Miles or something, or I don't know that. I think May is good on the back end. I would hold on to him.
yeah, they like complement each other perfectly.
Yeah, I really do. I think they did a good job. I was I wanted Dalvin Cook in the worst way in the first round that year. I was like so on board with Dalvin Cook.
I remember that draft.
And then I saw something where it was like Dalvin Cook every year since I think his junior year or sophomore year in high school had some sort of run-in with the police. So I was like, all right, look, we're not signing this guy. I get it. And then he was there in the second round. I was like, It's like, please, just pull the trigger.
Yeah,
we just need to hit on draft picks. That's what it is. We haven't hit on a second-round draft pick in forever. I mean, outside of May. Forever.
May, yeah, it was Harris. That was
Devin Smith.
Yeah.
And what's the other guy's name? Hackenberg and Bryce Petty.
We've had Hackenberg.
What were we doing?
Petty was in like the 4th round, I think, or 5th round.
Devin Smith was a second rounder. Stephen Hill was a second.
Vlad Dukas.
Yep. Sharon Peak.
Was Peak wasn't a second rounder. Peak was like a 7th rounder.
Peak was a second. Jason Morrow was a second, I think.
Jason Morrow was a second out of Texas Tech. Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm bummed we didn't get to see Chris Herndon this year because I think this offense really runs through the tight end position, and Herndon would have been a huge help to this team.
1,000%.
Yeah, Griffin's going off this year. He had like 100 yards, touchdown last week.
I think he'll do good this week too. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a not a consistent thing, but at least for this week, going to be a real good matchup for him.
Yeah. I think we're gonna probably come out strong this week. We're kind of like probably not gonna put up like 34, more like that 20 range, like we did against Dallas.
I like it. That would be if we can get 24 to 27 points. I think we could beat the Raiders. I think the Jets' defense is well equipped to stop their running game.
Yep.
What happens with Terrell Williams is, a whole nother story. I don't know. Hopefully.
I don't think we can.
I don't know. My score prediction. I'm gonna say Raiders win 27, Jets 21. That would be. I think the Jets will wind up losing by over 4 points.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. I think it's gonna be like 27-23, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
This is like this and the Giants are the 2 games that I want to win, and I want to spoil Buffalo's season, hopefully.
I would love to spoil Buffalo's season. Hashtag if you're still in here, Mark or Mario. You guys ruined the Bills ruined our playoff chances in 2016 or 15 or whatever year that was. I would love nothing more than to just ruin their season. And across the board, if the Jets can knock out teams along the way and they can put up bulletin board material and play better, I'm all for it.
Just like I don't want to be like going to the offseason again being like one of those bottom 3 teams that just everyone rips on.
I completely agree, dude. I'm ejecting you from the cockpit. We got plenty of callers calling in. I see all these different missed calls that we have. Matt, we're famous. People want to talk to us.
I'm in, man. We're doing good.
This is cool. I like this. Maybe we'll do a consistent thing. Maybe Jets talk on Monday is just O'Leary and Ryan going back and forth.
Hey man, I'm down.
Let us know if you guys want to see that. Drop some knowledge in the comment section. Who we got?
Call from
Ryan from the Bronx.
Ryan from the Bronx. What's up, dude? Welcome to the Cockpit.
Yo, what's good, Ryan? How are you, man?
Hanging in there. Talk to me. What's on your mind?
Yeah, man. First things first, I just want to say I've been subscribed to your channel for a while now, and I definitely just respect the progress. And the channel's come a long way, and I think we haven't even seen the ceiling yet, so I respect it, man. That's what's up. Keep doing your thing.
I like it, dude. Good stuff. Are you a Matt O'Leary subscriber as well?
Yes, I am. He puts up pretty good content as well. I'm not actually subscribed to
Thank
you guys.
I like it. This is good stuff. I like the Jets community is starting to get a little bit better. When I started doing this sort of stuff, it was like just Jets talk or just Jets Central, and like I think Angry David might have had like 500 subs at that time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know how to bullshit and talk Jets.
Yeah.
Why not? I like hearing my voice. But no, it's been fun.
Man. First of all, I just want to say I've been a Jets fan for probably I want to say a steady 11 years. And I'm pretty sure you have more years on me, way more.
Oh,
but
ouch.
I just remember from jump, man. It's always been from the top. It's always been the ownership, and you know, obviously fast forward to now, and we look at the current state of the team. And I think you just recently said how every year they try to market hope. I mean, at this point, it's just like, how can you not get tired of it? I really do think we need an owner change, and that's probably not going to happen within another 10, 15 years, unfortunately. So that's something that's kind of like, a blow.
It took Leon Hess dying for him to sell the team. That's what it took.
Oh, my God.
And that's just it. I don't think the Jets are ever going to get rid of it because they love having – the Johnsons are never going to get rid of it. They love hearing the tabloids. They love seeing the Jets name pop up. They're making buku money on this franchise. They don't care about how they do. That's a lie. They probably care. They just butt in too much.
Agree.
Well, as long as the money is flowing, they don't really care too much. But I will say this. I heard a couple people talking about, Jamal Adams needs to be traded and Le'Veon Bell and all this other things. I feel like we have to, for once in our franchise, hold on to the players that are actually game changers. I understand that getting capital for them, at least initially, sounds practical. But I think if we just continuously, like you said, we have to sign our franchise players to second contracts. If we just keep letting these players recycle after their first 4 years, and we have another Leonard Williams, and I think we'll never have an identity. I think we need to really, work around Sam Darnold, Jamal Adams, Le'Veon Bell. It's a little different situation since he's a little older and his position as well is a little bit more replaceable. But I just feel like we got to hold on to those players and then build around them.
Yeah, look, I agree. The Jamal Adams one I think is the most interesting thing, and we brought it up. God, it must be 5-6 weeks ago when we started talking about the thing no one wanted to bring up. Jamal Adams is our most valuable trade asset outside of Sam Darnold. Yeah. And there was a spot when Sam was not playing well that there was a contingency of fans that said, "Hey, if the Jets wind up with the first, second, or third pick and they get their choice of Tua, R.I.P., Burrow or Herbert from Oregon, do the Jets take one of those quarterbacks in the top 3, trade Darnold for a king's ransom, and have the rookie contract for 5 years as opposed to Sam, which we might need all of next year to rebuild this line, and it may not be until his 5th year option that we actually are competitive, or 4th year."
Yeah, but in your personal opinion, do you feel like we just give up too easily? Because I feel like every time we do this, we draft a big name, in the first round, and it's usually top 6, top 5.
Yep.
As soon as it doesn't pan out, we just go, "Oh, typical Jets," typical Jets bullshit. And I just feel like this time we actually have something in Sam Darnold. I don't think we drafted maybe a Hall of Fame quarterback, but I think we drafted a quarterback that we can win with. Even if we get, I've always compared Sam Darnold, at least his play style, to like a Matt Stafford. Maybe not the same arm talent, but as far as play style. And I feel like even if that's his ceiling, we can win around him, but we have to give him a chance. I mean, it doesn't matter who you put at quarterback, who you draft number 1 overall, whatever. we need to build around our franchise players. We can't have a Jamal Adams and not give him a top 5 pass rusher. We can't draft a Sam Darnold and not give him a top 10, even a top 15 O-line. I mean, we just, like you said, we're very top heavy, and then as far as depth, we're weak. We have spaghetti legs.
Look, I think Sam Darnold is the most talented Jets quarterback that the Jets have ever had, franchise quarterback wise. You know, Brett Favre, Michael Vick, those guys physically more talented with the arm and the running or whatever. But I think Sam Darnold will own every single Jets record by the time he's done with us. And I thought this season was going to be the year that we got to see.
He broke.
I thought he was going to break the touchdown record and the passing yards record. And I really think if he was in there for all, 4 games, because right now he's at, what are we at? He's at 1,600 yards. So he's not getting there this year. He missed 3 games. You'd have to throw some silly amount of, yards. But either way, I think next year, if he stays healthy and he's there for the entire season, he has a top 20 offensive line, not a bottom 12.
Right.
I think he breaks all our records.
He should. Definitely should. The talent is there.
Yeah, the dude's just unreal. I see, was it Big Green? No, who said that? Scott says Sam reminds me of Favre. To an extent, I think the improv, yes. The arm talent's just not there. The arm talent with Favre, the dude had a howitzer. But the escapability of Sam is, I think, better than Favre. I think Favre had a good, backyard kind of quarterback play style, but I think Sam's a good quarterback. I think Sam can be a perennial top 5 quarterback in this league. I think that's how talented he is.
I see a couple Romo comparisons in the chat. I like that one a lot. I think that's pretty good.
I think Romo's a great comparison.
Extremely accurate. That's extremely accurate. Yeah, it's almost like scary accurate. How they both they're just natural like gunslingers. Maybe not in the sense of arm strength, but more of just like you said, that backyard quarterback play style where they're just they're very just nitty gritty. Like they'll take the hit, they'll get back up and they'll make these amazing plays, and then every now and then make a very head scratching play. But I personally love Darnold. I'm committed. I want to win with him. But I do have a question for you guys, for both of you guys.
Sure.
Shoot.
Let's say year 3, because obviously, as far as to our knowledge, we're rolling with Adam Gase. Unfortunately, Let's say year 3, and Darnold plays a full 16 games, and he does not show out the way we need to see. Because year 3 is usually that quarterback year where you need to, shut up or nut up. What do we do? Do we move on? Do we extend him for another 2 years to see what we have? What do we do with that if Sam Darnold just doesn't pan out next year at least?
You don't extend him yet because you own his rights for 2 more years, and you could really franchise him for 2 years after that. So you really have control of Sam Darnold for the next 4.5 years if you want to.
Okay.
I would not pay him big money if he doesn't show up next year. Now, I have a hard time believing that he's just going to fall flat on his face. I fully 110% back this guy. And I know I've been wrong on Ja'Kai Polite. I was wrong on other dudes that we've signed, but quarterback-wise, I think Sam is the most talented quarterback we've ever had. And it would be I think the Jets would be at fault if he doesn't pan out. That's sort of my take on it. I think Matt falls similar.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you said. At that point, I would kind of go like the Redskins Kirk Cousins route and franchise him for a year. And if it's still not working out, then you just say, okay, and you let him walk, and then you either draft somebody or find someone through free agency.
Yeah, and ideally, I don't want it to get to the franchise tag part. I would like to go into just before his 5th-year option. The Jets know, okay, this is our franchise guy. You say, hey, let's throw 5 years, X amount of money, whatever, $150 million or, $200 million, whatever it's going to wind up being $200 million, I think, by the time Patrick Mahomes gets signed. I would rather us extend him just before year 5 than get to the point of the franchise tag. So we have another 2 years to kind of grade him. I don't think we're giving up on him before that. Unless he totally shits the bed.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Another question, assuming that we draft top 10 for the next draft, which I'm pretty sure it's very likely, what position do we go? If we only have one pick, what position do we go? I'm in favor of offensive line. I think it's been over 10 years, I believe, since we drafted a lineman, and I think we are way overdue.
It's 13.
I think in free agency, we can get a big name if available. but I think we have to go lineman. How do you guys feel about drafting top 10? What position do you pick next season?
If we're top 10, I think it has to be O-line. And I think the second round pick has to be O-line as well. I think it's tackle or guard even. And then it's, it's center in the second. If you trade Jamal and you get that 20 to 30 pick for him, I would be more open. I was more open to like a Chase Young, CeeDee Lamb kind of pick, I think, if we have that additional pick. It kind of depends. I don't know where these players are going to wind up shaking down in the rankings. Chase Young is someone that I would have definitely taken if we wound up with a top 3 pick. I don't know. I wouldn't trade up. I would look at trading down maybe.
Yeah.
If we were, say we picked 10th, I don't know where that next tackle is supposed to go. Like, I don't know if Austin Jackson is a top 10 pick or, I kind of have to probably see that. Andrew Thomas, I see you guys commenting in there. Andrew Thomas is not getting past Washington. Unless someone trades up to Washington's pick and Washington falls behind us, there's no way we're getting him.
Yeah, I'd be surprised, but that's really the guy that I want.
Yeah, he's
Thomas. You want Thomas?
Yeah, Thomas is the one I think all Jet fans are 110% united on.
Mm-hmm.
People are saying Tristan Wirfs out of Iowa.
There's a couple prospects up there, like especially in that top 15 range. It could be like possibly up to 4 or 5 linemen.
Yeah, I have a hard time not going lineman based on what we saw. Like, I don't think Sam and the offense are going to get better unless we fix the O-line. And, if you have to take the 15th best player at pick 8 because you need offensive linemen, just do it for this season. I don't care if the dude pans out. It doesn't matter where he was taken. I'm all about upgrading this offensive line this offseason. It has to be priority 1. Wide receiver, cornerback, pass rusher is all after that.
You
Agree.
can even argue that best player available has been actually hurting us more than helping as far as the development of our team. Because we take all these players and they never amount to winning.
Best player available is a very optimistic. I don't know. It's kind of a scapegoat. It's like, oh, this guy we thought was the best guy in the draft, so we took him. Leonard Williams. When we took Leonard Williams, I was okay with it because, like everyone said, top player in the draft. I wanted Amari Cooper. I wanted Brandon Sheriff. I wanted Marcus Mariota. Like, all these guys had already been taken prior to our pick.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So, I would have understood Vic Beasley because we had Muhammad Wilkerson. We had Sheldon Richardson, but they had all their issues going on. Wilkerson was not getting extended at that point. Sheldon Richardson, I think, had just gotten in the car incident where he was driving like 120 miles an hour.
Yeah, with like a kid in the car or something like that.
Yeah. So, like, I kind of understood the Leonard pick, but Vic Beasley would be that pick now. And honestly, Beasley hasn't really looked good either. I think he's actually hitting free agency this offseason.
Yeah, he is. He hasn't been like that number one, like pure pass rusher.
His best year he had was a very low-graded Pro Football Focus grade, I think, if I remember correctly.
He went off in 16, I think, and then kind of regressed a little bit after that.
I don't know if it might have been, I want to say it was 17. He had like double-digit sacks, but a lot of the sacks were untouched. He didn't do anything. They were cleanup sacks or coverage sacks. I think that's what wound up happening with him. So he's actually not even that great of a pick. You look at the Quinnen Williams pick, you probably take Josh Allen there. We just need a pass rusher in the worst way. Jamal Adams, if you could redo it, you're taking Patrick Mahomes. And then the biggest issue for me is I was okay not taking a quarterback that year because I thought the coaching staff believed in their second-round pick. And we didn't get to see him, so we didn't really know what was going on.
Yeah.
If they decided to take Jamal Adams because they did not want to admit fault in taking Christian Hackenberg, is the biggest disservice that this franchise has done to the fans in a long time.
No, you're spot on with that.
Think about it. You'd have Patrick Mahomes and you'd have 3 second-round picks. You'd have probably Quentin Nelson as your guard because the Bills would have traded up with the Colts and Quentin Nelson now falls to 6 for the Jets. You have, just a slew of players that we could have taken, and it absolutely kills us. But you can't play that hindsight game because hindsight is always a tough thing.
Yeah, and here we are. And I remember what you said about Dalvin Cook as well. I'm with you 100%. I was like, after the first night, and I realized that Dalvin Cook didn't get taken off the board, I was like, this is a no-brainer. And then they double-dipped on safety, and that was another questionable draft choice. I mean, we went Jamal Adams and then Marcus May. You know, it was just, I don't know. I didn't understand that. I guess we needed it, but there were so many other pieces, especially on the offensive side of the ball, that were just vulnerable. We needed way more pieces on offense and defense, and that was just a head scratcher. And even then, let's just say we do trade Jamal Adams. Are you okay with Marcus May being our best safety in the secondary?
I am. I think May's really good. He just needs to stay healthy. That's really the only issue with him. I like Jamal Adams. If Douglas can find a way to keep him, pay him, and build the offensive line, I'm all for it. I would like to see him stay. I question if that's a realistic thing. I think this offensive line rebuild is going to take 2 years without a Jamal Adams trade, and I don't think this team can afford that.
Yeah. Most definitely is going to need a sacrifice. And last one, I don't want to hold you guys up. How do you guys feel about Joe Douglas and the franchise moving forward? Do you feel like he has what it takes to really clean up this mess and just turn the whole culture around, or do you feel like it's going to be another kind of McCagnon thing?
I have to hope that he's not. I really do. That's what it comes down to. I really believe in Joe Douglas. I believe in his demeanor. I feel like with Idzik and Tannenbaum and McCagnon, these guys looked like suits that were in an office that never really played the game. Joe Douglas, on the other hand, looks like he's a lineman. It looks like he's going to hurt you if you do something wrong. This is an intimidation kind of guy that has the pedigree from Howie Roseman, the pedigree from, his time with the Eagles, and, he just seems like he's more buttoned up and more of a foolproof GM. And I'm hoping, based on what I've heard in the scouting department, they're actually investing money into it. We got Phil Savage. I'm hoping we get Todd McShay. There were rumors surrounding McShay and Douglas because I guess they're close friends. I would be all on board with it. I really like the Mike Mayock GM selection for the Raiders. I think that was a smart move because you have to build through the draft.
Smart. Yep.
So if we can get, McShay as a consultant, he doesn't even have to do it full time, whatever it is. Just I would bring him on and just try to build this team through the draft as best you can.
I'm with you there. I am confident in Joe Douglas. I think he is going to be a better drafter than Mike McCagnon. One, because it's almost impossibly worse than Mike McCagnon was at drafting. But he came from, like you said, with the Eagles, and then even his time with the Ravens with Ozzie Newsome. That's another Hall of Fame general manager there. I think this guy has a ton of potential. I got faith in him.
I completely agree. Dude, you've been ejected from the cockpit. I apologize. We are out of time. I said 8 to 10 o'clock. We went 8 to 10, 11. That's all right. Matt O'Leary, I've had a blast talking with you today, and we will definitely do this moving forward. I'll probably talk to you after this about potentially just doing this moving forward because I have fun with this sort of stuff, and then I don't wind up wasting all my air.
No, absolutely. It was a blast, dude. Thanks for having me on.
Guys, if you haven't subscribed to Matt O'Leary, check out his channel. It's in the description down below. Don't forget to tune in for all our other stuff. We'll have another live stream coming next Monday. And guys, where's my music? I gotta turn up louder. This is Jets Talk and Matt O'Leary signing off. Have a good night, boys and girls. G-E